Thank you guys so much for stopping by again. This is Gene, and this week we're taking a little trip. We're going to Brooklyn to do some landscaping, so stay tuned. Hey guys, so I'm looking a little rough today, or maybe I'm not. I don't know, you tell me. Last week I went to Rego Park, to my friend Maria's house to do some things, and this week I'm gonna go to some exotic place. What is it? I can't think of it. Canarsie. I'm going to Canarsie to do some yard work. So come along with me. Let's see what happens today. If you would have told me last week that this week I'd be in Canarsie, I would have said shut the front door and open the back window. But it's a reality. I'm going to Canarsie to do some yard work for a girlfriend of mine. So let's see what happens. So what you're looking at right now is the unfinished garden. This is what I walked into, and by the end of the video, you'll have the finished product. We have a couple of rose bushes. 1, 2, 3 to be exact. We have a Japanese maple. I'm gonna replant this guy, and this guy might have seen his last day. All this great soil to work with. We have an organic compost, raised bed soil, which unfortunately we're not going to be doing the raised bed today, and some topsoil.
So what I'm doing right now is I'm breaking up the soil. The soil in the city is clay and silt. You have to break it up. So that's what I'm doing now.
So what I'm doing right now is breaking the ground. I'm just breaking it up so that it's easier for me to add nutrients to the dirt that is already there, and so that I can build trenches for my plants. And there's always time for a sexy wiping your sweat break as I shake out my tendrils. So back to more serious work. This is the I think it's a type of boxwood, but I'm moving that so that I can replant it. And right now I'm getting ready to plant my trenches. I want to space out where my hydrangeas are going to go first, because that's important. We don't want them to just be anywhere. I'm breaking them out of their pots. And I just did that by laying them on their sides and smashing the pot so that it's easier for me to pull the full plant out. And right now, again, I'm just blocking where my plants are going to go. Right now I'm building a trench, and this trench is just going to be a shallow trench, just an easier place for me to plant my plants instead of just digging individual holes. So I can just plop them in where they need to be. As you can see, I am digging my trenches by eye. Which you can totally do in your own space, but at a professional level in the future I'd like to use plumb lines, just a string that I can put at one end of the yard to the other, just so that I can have straighter lines. But you can also do it by eye, especially in your own garden. And as far as that goes in gardens, for your personal gardens, I do prefer a more organic look, something that might look like it might have just grown that way, as opposed to being super clean and straight, and it looks so manicured. And I think as time goes on, you'll see a juxtaposition of both. There'll be some yards that'll be super clean, super manicured, depending on what that customer is, and then you'll see the opposite in some of my other more personal designs, because again, I do like a more organic approach. So yeah, I'm just planting where they're going to go. Later on in the video, you'll see that I'm just going to fill those in, and I'm just going to like blanket them, make them nice and comfortable with a layer of black mulch. So I have them all in line. The last one was a little bit of a doozy. Again, that's why we don't necessarily want to plant things by eye. It was a little off, so I had to dig her up and put her in the right space. So now that I've cleaned that up, I've cleaned the space for my Japanese maple. I'm gonna go ahead and put that where I want it to be. It's kind of young. In the summer, I think that that plant will be very, very good. But as we get closer to the fall, again, because it is a smaller plant, a smaller tree, still want to care for it. There is going to be considerable growth throughout the summer, but we want to protect it in the fall. So I might buy a donut for that, or request that the client buy one. But we're going to take care to make sure that that grows up straight for next year. So now that that's in, just like with my hydrangeas, I just put some of that organic soil on top of there, filled it in with that soil also, just so that it has nutrients to kind of get it through this season. And it's not summer yet, so they have a lot of time to get acclimated. So on this side, I'm not necessarily going to dig an entire trench. I'm going to dig individual holes for my rose bushes, and there's no reason. It's just a little bit easier. It's later in the day, and I was getting tired. You can see how much sweat I'm wiping off. So I'm going to dig individual holes for my rose bushes. Just make sure that they're nice and comfortable. Pat them into bed. And right now I'm digging my last trench for that boxwood. I don't know what type of tree that is. If you guys know, leave it in the comments, because I don't know. I think it is a type of boxwood though. And what I found, it was a little bit harder for me to plant that boxwood closer to the ledge or the handrail. And that's because there was an existing staircase there, and that structure hadn't necessarily all the way been knocked out. They just put dirt on top of it. So I had to dig around that, and it's a little bit farther away from the handrail than I wanted it to be. And again, I'm just going back, making sure that there's a nice organic soil, that it's in there, just so that my plants can live. I mean, they would live in the dirt that was there, but I just want to make sure that they're pampered a little bit. They're going through stress of being planted and replanted, so we want to alleviate that stress as much as we can. They're individual holes. I'm going to place them in those holes, and I'm going to fill it in with some of that good soil. Again, they'll grow in the soil that's there, but I want to make sure that they're at their optimal growth. In this season and next season, they can come back that much fuller or more full. It's very, very important when you are doing projects that you clean up while you're doing your work. So I'm taking a lot of that old soil that was there out so that it can be hauled away, because I'm adding new soil and topsoil that you'll see at the end.
Content. Yeah. All right, we're almost done. Let's go in for the last go around.
Like I said, I am in the final stretch. We are cleaning things up. All my plant babies are in their new beds, tucked in nice and ready for this new growing season. So I'm just going to add my final bow, my finishing touch. And for this project, that is going to be black mulch. So I'm just spreading that out, making sure that it's even, tucked in all the little spaces. And it's going to add a clean touch for this project. And it's also going to protect the plants through this season and get them ready for the fall season. So right here, I am just watering them. I'm giving them a little drink. I'm going to water them one more time once I put the rest of the black mulch down, but I'm watering them just so that they can kind of, adhere to where they are, number one, and to alleviate some of the stress. They've been shipped to New York. I put them in the ground. That's a lot of trauma. So just want to make sure that they're healthy and happy. So I'm putting the rest of the black mulch down now. I have evened out the ground, and I'm just going to make sure that we have an even and a thick coating of the black mulch. So I'm going to do about 2 inches of it, and there's calculators online so that you know how many bags to buy. You can literally put in the square footage of your space and it'll tell you how much you have to buy. So we did that, and I'm putting in the final touches. So again, finishing up. Right now you see me carrying these flat stones. You can't see it in the video, but these are just the paver stones, just to add a little bit of whimsy to the project, and so that the client can actually walk from one side to the other without ruining the black mulch or displacing it, or getting dirt on their feet. Right now I'm just rinsing off the plants, got a little black mulch on them. I'm also going to give them their last watering for the day. I set the client up with aftercare instructions, and here is the finished product. Thank you guys for being here with me. I hope you enjoy. If you like what you see, pass on the information. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and until next time, this is Gene Loves Plants, and I love you guys.